Oh, man. I tried to film this video yesterday night at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and that didn't go very well. So let's try it now. I think anybody who has subscribed to the channel is probably pretty confused right now. They're like, what kind of question is this? Obviously, most of my audience is composed of furries. A lot of people are still kind of confused on what a furry is, so I thought if I made this video that was concise, it would be helpful. And hopefully this will be the type of thing where you can send it to somebody as an explanation. Although, in retrospect, that book I made a while back was jokingly supposed to be like this Furries for Dummies type book. It ended up just morphing into a joke. As such, it's completely unreadable to anybody who doesn't know what a furry is. Let's hope that doesn't happen to this. This is not going to be very easy because I'm going to try to tackle a subject in a couple minutes that is tackled in countless documentaries over a much longer period of time. Let's see how this goes. Although I will be briefly talking about some of the NSFW aspects of the fandom. It's in a mature context. I would rate this video PG-13 at worst. Generalizing here, I would say a furry is somebody who enjoys to make anthro characters that often have aspects of various creatures, like foxes, dragons, porcupines, lobsters. There's not a lot of lobsters, but there's at least one. I know that for a fact. Moth! This moth suit is really cool. These custom characters are called personas, like Persona, only not. And, of course, some furries don't have a sona. They may enjoy and be involved enough in the community to still consider themselves a furry. I actually did this Twitter thread where I'm like, hey, can you share with me pictures of your sona? And it got a lot of responses. So, I figured I'd just show every single response I got. Yeah, let's get that music playing. Often, people might get artwork of their character made. They might even get a costume made like this. This is a head, although some costumes might be more or less elaborate, once again, depending on the person. Each one of these costumes, or fursuits, is possessed by a demon, and you have to do a spell before you put the head on, otherwise it will start to possess. That was a joke. That's not true. Or is it? That's not true. Is it? No, that's not. That was getting old real fast. What I have is called a partial because it doesn't cover my entire body. It's just partial. I have paws too, but they're over there behind some piles of trash that I have laying around, and I simply refuse to get up. I also have to go pick up a friend in a little bit. I'm hanging out with somebody for like the first time in my life. Keep in mind, not every person does the fursuit thing. I think a big reason is because they're hard to make. They're expensive, can get really hot inside of them. I'll go into that another time. But some people just aren't into it, and that's okay, right? It's an internet subculture, meaning it's sprung up and sort of been popularized because of the internet. I just graduated high school, so the most common misconception, like if I asked somebody in the school what a furry was, they would say it's some kind of strange NSFW thing, I guess. And that's not what it is. People who are furries often hold the fact that they're a furry so close to their identity that, I think it was bound that NSFW art and that kind of thing was gonna pop up. Whatever, I think assuming it's consenting adults and there's not unethical stuff happening, we just gotta respect that. I think a good comparison is anime. Somebody who watches anime who's watching this is like, we're not as weird as you, shut up, what are you talking about? If somebody says they watch anime, they aren't necessarily talking about NSFW anime. It's a genre, it's an art form. You can't generalize. Furries are the same way. Or another good comparison, ASMR. If you've ever, it's like the thing where people whisper into microphones and stuff. I like ASMR. I listen to it a lot. If you look up ASMR, you can find a lot of clearly clickbaity videos where people are literally naked or half naked or something doing ASMR. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. It is just kind of annoying, though, when you're trying to fall asleep and you want something relaxing to listen to and that kind of thing pops up. But, you know, if somebody says they listen to ASMR, you can't necessarily assume that they're talking about the NSFW ASMR, you know. That's the thing that's really holding furries back as a fandom, I think, is because a lot of people don't want to touch the whole concept when they aren't sure if it's some sort of, like, adult thing, you know, and I get it. Continuing on with sort of talking about stereotypes or rumors of what a furry is, you know, furries don't abuse animals. Animal abuse is obviously very bad and very unethical. I have never seen a furry that had real fur in their costume. The definition of a monster removing somebody's skin and then wearing it around. Oh, being a furry doesn't have to do with zoophilia. In the past, when people have sort of been outed as having connections to groups and people who abuse animals in that way, they've been excommunicated from the fandom, essentially. I think as they should have. You have one person who's supposedly a furry do something horrible, and then the rest of the furries just get clumped in there, and that's not, you know. Furries as a group are extremely diverse, I think, especially when it comes to sexual and gender minorities. LGBTQ plus people make up a large percentage of the fandom, and I gotta say, it's a nice thing where you can show up in a group and be gay, for example, and nobody blinks an eye, you know. And there's a lot of allies and stuff as well. So even if they're cis or they're straight, you know, that kind of thing, they're still very supportive. And it's a nice thing. There's also another thing I should mention where it's like this idea that in the furry fandom, the equivalent of a handshake is a hug, which is kind of a nice sentiment, although I have heard people getting hugged too much and like getting bruised because of it, so that's fun. There's quite a few websites that like try to define what a furry is. Fur Science, if you've ever seen that, that's like a scientific study-based website. It's very fascinating. There's another called whatisfurry.com, I think. And initially, I had planned to open up my own website and slap this video into it, so then you could just link that website to anybody who you wanted to share this video with or something. Domain names are kind of expensive and stuff, so I think I'm just gonna furry.averymiller.org. If you send that link to somebody, it will redirect to this video. So, thumbs up. So that's about it. I got a bug out here. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I said bug out. I'm turning into my father. I will talk to you later.